All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SA Boxing Talk, Getting Leathered, episode 3 as well. Welcome, I guess, Mike Ocolaris back. And my guest, I suppose, Mike, you are a firm part of Getting Leathered. You even made the t-shirts, which none of us are wearing today. I couldn't find it in the cupboard earlier. How are you doing, sir?
No, very well in yourself. Thank you so much for having me on, and I look forward to this. It's going to be good fun, eh?
I see you're in a boxing ring. I'm literally on the other side of the earth looking in, and I can't find you anywhere on earth. But I mean, I'm happy because we got sportsbets.io and a couple of things that we need to talk about today. And I'm looking at it from above and I'm seeing you, and I'm happy to see you again, bro. How's everything been in the time?
A long time coming, but you know the great part is that like we just pick up where we left off. We just pick up where we left off. That's so cool.
And again, I proposed to you during the week. I said, can we talk about this subject, that subject? And again, we just did not come to an agreement. And that's normal. If you guys have watched episode 1 and 2 of Getting Leathered, you know that me and Mike can never agree on anything.
No, and I wouldn't expect it any other way. I mean, we agree on some things, So we agree on a few things, but this one we don't agree on.
Yes, but especially boxing, we don't agree on it. Like we have our opposite.
Not always, not always.
I'll
Not
always
always.
be to like, okay, let's talk about this guy. I think this guy will win, and you'll be like, listen, but I've got another guy I think's gonna win, and well, that kind of leads me into today, right? So we got like sportsbets.io, which you've also joined the team as well. You're looking into and placed a couple of little bets there. How's your success been thus far?
I tell you what, I've enjoyed it, and like anyone who hasn't enjoyed it, like needs, like tried it, I mean, has to give it a try because the interface is extremely user friendly, which is what's cool about the whole thing. You can actually navigate your way around it quite like a, and it's just a bit different, but it's fun. It's like lots of fun. So I'm having a blast. So if I don't win anything, I'm going to come back for a couple of vouchers. You have to set a brother up.
Well, we started you on the journey. Let's see if you keep improving, we can definitely help you out there. But yeah, first topic of the day. Let's get straight to it. Firstly, the topic that we're going to talk about today. Have you placed a bet on this specific topic that we're going to talk about first? The first fight.
Not yet.
Oh,
Not yet.
so you're not confident in your decision, obviously.
Coming. The week's over. It's a Friday. No. I'm confident. I'm confident. But it's a Friday. You know, we're chilling out now. We're recording this. Nothing you say is going to change my mind. My bet's my bet.
Well, look,
and I think this is actually the perfect platform to lock it in.
Typically, you've gone for the favorites. I'm not going to lie, because on the betting odds, he is the favorite to win the fight. I'll introduce the subject to everyone that is obviously tuning in and know absolutely nothing of what we're talking about. This weekend, the biggest fight of the weekend, and I wanted to get this started right in the beginning because it's obviously a big talking point. We've got David Benevidez, the Mexican monster, coming up against David Morrell. It's going to be an absolute bang of a fight. Two undefeated boxers, Orthodox versus Southpaw, Mexico versus Cuba. Mike, who have you picked to win this bout?
I'm going with Benevidez, baby, the monster.
Hashtag the loser in this fight, because here's David Morrell Jr., who's coming all the way from Cuba. He's coming off some great stoppage wins. So is Benevidez, to be fair. Like, they're both coming off good stoppage wins. Benevidez obviously a little bit more seasoned in the professional ranks, but I'm bringing you an amateur sensation in the form of David Morrell Jr. Let's get into the talking points. Why firstly, do you think that David Benevidez, who is well known, is going to come out the winner on the fight night?
Look, for me, I think Benevidez, for me, just he shades it in the experience factor. Okay, you got to bring that into the thing. Morrell's a brilliant fighter. He's got great footwork, boxing IQ. He's definitely an up and comer. He's got those minerals. Okay, 100% that he does. But I just don't know how he's going to handle Benevidez's punching output. I mean, I think he throws something like 70 odd punches around. Okay. And like, I just think his resume is obviously, he's had some good fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's fought Plant, he's fought Lemieux. I mean, he's fought Andrade. He's had, I just think his experience is just what's going to show up in this one. And I think obviously Morrell comes from a Cuban background. He's got a great amateur record. I mean, I think he's made 50 fights or something and 40 something wins. So he's got a great amateur record, but I don't know. I just think it's maybe just a bit too soon. And I think it depends how he handles the limelight. I think it's obviously his biggest fight, so he's obviously going to come in there. That, but I just think experience. I think you have to go with Benevidez. I go with Benevidez.
Yeah, it's a shame that like Morrell has to come in and spoil Benevidez's plans of fighting Canelo Alvarez, because obviously that was the plan for Benevidez, but he's taken a shortcut here and he's going to find out really quickly. In my opinion, that is. I mean, I think Benevidez, as you mentioned, rightfully so. He comes forward. He really throws volume punches. He's up there with some of the best in the world in terms of just his activity, and in that weight division as well. It's really impressive. But you got someone like Morrell. And you know what? I was thinking about this during the week, and I was thinking, how am I going to explain this to Mike and put it to him why I think that David Morrell will win? And I'll put it to you this way: why I think he'll win. I liken this fight a lot to Andre Ward versus Crusher Kovalev, where I believe that Benevidez is going to be the crusher in this fight, and I believe that Andre Ward is more like a Morrell, more technical, obviously more. And hopefully we do get 2 fights out of these guys that we're going to be seeing. But I just think that Morrell just smartness is going to come out on top. Not to say that Benevidez is not smart, but I just think that Morrell's just got a high level IQ. Cuban boxing as well, always difficult to fight the Cubans.
No, 100%. I do agree with you. I think it is a big fight, but if I was to ask you what so many people say this is a 50-50 fight, but why would it be? What makes it a 50-50 fight? On what level does it make it a 50-50 fight? I mean, if you take the resume that Morrell's got, yes, he hasn't been tested. He hasn't really fought. I mean, if you take just Benevidez has lost 4 opponents, Darrell, Plant, you know what I mean? That's some season campaign. That's some proper fighters, you know what I mean, that he's got. So I just think the magnitude of this fight, okay, I just think that gets to Morrell. I don't think he's been tested. I don't think, listen, I think he's going to come in there. He's going to put on a good show. It's going to be a great fight. I think early he might have a bit of success, but with Benevidez's gas tank, I mean, that lasts for days. You know what I mean? And I think just down the line, I think once Benevidez finds his rhythm, I just think Morrell struggles a little bit. So
do you not see, I mean, for example, when Manny Pacquiao fought Floyd Mayweather Jr., then, even though Pacquiao had a massive gas tank and Pacquiao definitely hits a lot harder than Floyd Mayweather, he was able to nullify it. Or are you saying that you don't think Morrell has enough experience yet to maybe negate what Morrell is? I mean, what Benevidez is going to do coming forward? Is it an experience thing for you? Is that why you'd pick Benevidez?
For me, I think that's the biggest thing. For me, it's the experience side of it. It's just the experience. He's got the minerals. Morrell's got the minerals. He's going to be a phenomenal fighter, 100%. He's definitely going to be one of the greats. If you take from his boxing IQ, footwork, head movement, I do think Morrell's the bigger puncher. I do think he's the bigger puncher. But some would argue that having a great amateur pedigree is, fighting in the pros it's very different. So I just think Benevidez has just got the better resume, and I just think it's a bit too early for Morrell. So listen, I think this is good for him, because if you look at Canelo, when he fought Mayweather, he was 40 fights or 38 fights or whatever it was, okay? But there's levels, baby. And you saw that when he fought Floyd, Floyd nullified everything that he did. But you'd argue that now, years down the line, he's more established, he's cemented himself, he's obviously, you know what I'm saying? He's more experienced. And I think Canelo, more experienced now, would have obviously made a better fight against Floyd. But it comes down to the same thing now. Morrell's 11-0, Benevidez is at 29 and 0. So you've got to bring it down to experience. So yeah, brilliant fighter. He's got the minerals. He's gonna go somewhere. But I just think it's a step too soon. The monster's gonna take this, baby. The monster's gonna take this.
Yeah, we'll see about that, because Morrell's got the freshness as well. He is
no, he does, yeah, for sure.
Fighter that's never really been tested, really, and I get that as well. This will be the first real serious test of his career. But I mean, if you're that good, do you ever get tested? At the end of the day, he's just going to make Benevidez miss, make him pay. On the odds though, on sportsbets.io, I mean, does betting on David Benevidez, who's coming at a 1.4, meaning if you put down $1, you get 1.4, or does going for David Morrell and taking a risk there at 2.75 make more sense? As a sort of, if you're going to put down a smaller amount, I'd say you're probably taking less of a risk by going for David Morrell. Just seeing, I think it's 50-50. I know you don't see it that way, but I do think that Morrell comes out on top and shocks the world, so to speak. And then Morrell goes on and beats Canelo Alvarez as well, maybe. But we'll okay. I'll retract that last comment because you never know. But I think size, these are big boys, right? I mean, these are big boys.
No. They are. They definitely are. So, look, I think it's as a cover bet. I mean, it's the odds are favor. I mean, it's worth it. It's worth taking a punt on Morrell. But if you want a proper betting tip, I think keep your money in your pocket or put it on Benevidez, baby.
I see the draw is locked, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check if the draw is on the table. Oh, you can select a draw. So I'm going to open up the options here quickly. I'm going to see.
How do you see the fight playing out, though? Like, if you were to pick Morrell, what are you talking? Are you talking decision, or do you think he stops Benevidez?
Okay, so that's a good question because I also think he's a better boxer than Benevidez as well. So I think he can win on points or knockouts. He. Now, granted, right? I mean, he's got a granite jaw, doesn't he, Benevidez? And he's another one of those guys that you said, like Joe Joyce back in the days, that had a granite jaw. We will refrain from episode 2. Yeah. Every jaw. He has one for you. Every jaw meets a southpaw. And Zali Zhang was the one that did it for Joe Joyce, and Morrell will be the one that does it for Benavidez. And I think David Morrell, I think, could stop Benavidez late, if that's even on the cards. Because I don't thoroughly in my heart, I don't believe that the winner gets decided on a knockouts in this fight. I do generally feel like this fight goes the distance either way, if either guy wins.
I also think it goes the distance 100%. But I think if there's a stoppage, I think it's Benavidez late.
Sure. So wait, let's go deeper into the bets. You're gonna put one in later. What route are you gonna pick? Have you decided where are you leaning? Are you gonna go points? Are you gonna go late stoppage?
Look, I definitely think Benevidez on points for sure. Like, that's a locked in. But I just think if he finds his rhythm early enough, okay. I just think good jab, very quick, good gas tank, magnitude of the fight, the inexperience. I think we could be on a late stoppage here.
I feel like we should do like a live stream of the time that the fight's on, just to give like the audience like a live reaction as well. I don't know if we're going to be up for it. But
so I'll be up for it. I mean, I'm watching the boxing. There's no way I'm not watching the boxing. Okay. But yeah, listen. Like you mentioned, southpaw. I mean, if you go through Cuban, Casamayor, Louis Ortiz, Kid Chocolate. I mean, Cuban boxers are talent. You know what I mean? It's like Mexican. They are talent, 100%. He's got the minerals. He's gonna, you know what I mean? He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. He's going to be one of the greats. For me, it just comes down to experience. I just think it's just a step too soon against the monster. I don't see it going any other way. I mean, listen, you never know. This boxing. But
you're right.
For me, it's Benevidez.
You're right. This is boxing. Draw is a 16.5, which I think is a likely outcome as well. I mean, look, it looks highly unlikely, but I mean, with these caliber fighters, a draw I could definitely see a 6-6. I just think it's a close fight, but obviously I'm backing Morrell. I think it's either going to be a really hard fight, a labored effort from Benavidez, missing punches and getting punished, or I just see him absolutely leathering him, like absolutely smashing Benavidez up.
I watched the interview. A couple of days ago. I think it was Abel Sanchez. He said Benavidez is the kind of fighter who he throws 5 punches, but he hits you with 7 because of that sheer that volume of punching that he throws and that. So listen, it makes for a great fight. Let's be honest, it makes for a great fight. I like Morrell. He's definitely that. Like he's that come forward fighter. But again, like I say, there's levels to this. So I just think
we're gonna speak
flashbacks to Floyd Canelo. I think it was a bit too soon in Canelo's career. I think the fight, if it came a bit later on,
how old is David Morrell?
He would have maybe put on a better. How what?
How old is David Morrell?
How old is he? 27. 27.
Like almost prime years, eh?
Yeah. Well, Benevidez is what, 28? 27, 28.
They're both in their primes though. So we actually, the winner, the true winner actually is the fans, because then you're getting two guys. We're not just waiting for the Canelo fight now, which I think a lot of us want, but this is probably the best fight, irrespective of Canelo Alvarez being obviously the money fights in the division. Everyone wants to fight Canelo. I'm talking about competitive wise. This is probably the better fight. And you never know. Everyone's been talking about Benevidez being the guy that's going to unlock and, basically bival Canelo. And, let's see what happens in this fight. I believe Morrell goes all the way. I believe he becomes a proper fighter in this industry. And me and you are going to speak off camera because one of us is going to catch an L and be sad on Sunday morning. But truthfully, I feel like
it's going to be you. Your background is in space there, boss. Your head's in the clouds, brother.
I have to slow that scene down because you're in a boxing ring. You literally went backwards like the way Benevidez is falling.
And you can't write this stuff, eh?
All right. So if you're in the comment section, you're either going to be hashtag Team Mike or hashtag Team Hayden, and you're going to pick the right way. Also, if you go into the bio of this video, you'll be seeing a link to sportsbets.io. Join us as well, and obviously hit that David Morrell button. All right. No complaints, eh, Mike? We also have...
Listen, just quickly, you can actually make an argument for both sides, 100%. It depends how you see it. For me, it comes down to experience. Mm-hmm. I just think we're in for a cracker. I think it's going to be a brilliant fight, and yeah, I definitely think it's one to tune in for, and yeah. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
I don't mean to disappoint you, but we need to move on to the next topic and move to
please, let's go.
A co-main event on that same tournament. Brandon Figueroa versus Stephen Fulton. Now, this is a very difficult one for me to pick, and we didn't discuss this one beforehand as well, so I don't know who you're picking, and I don't know who I'm picking even. I mean, I'm literally coming down this. I know Fulton's only loss ever came against the Monster Inoue, and Brandon Figueroa is an undefeated fighter, again, hasn't fought someone like Fulton, but has been a world champion, just like Stephen Fulton. How do you go on this one? The favorites, before you get to your choice, the favorite for the fight is Brandon Figueroa. He's coming in at a 1.43. Yep. Stephen Fulton's coming in at 2.66. Which way? Lovely. The lights go out. Which way do you go on this one?
You're going to see Stephen Fulton's lights are going to go out. That was the... Listen, I like Figueroa. I like Fulton, 100%. But I think there's a certain man that took a piece of that man's soul, baby. And I think since that loss, he just hasn't been the same. I don't know. Figueroa looks comfortable at 126. I think he's been at 126 longer.
Yeah.
He's had a good couple of wins. The only thing for Figueroa for me is that he's coming off a long layoff. I think he fought last in May, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't know. Fulton he also didn't look comfortable in his last fight either against Castro.
That was his featherweight debut. That was a featherweight fight as well.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think Figueroa stopped Castro, if I'm not mistaken, in 22. So I think if
22, you're right.
Yeah, I just think, and just judging from a couple of the interviews that you've seen, and that he just seems a bit checked out.
This is indeed a rematch, and Stephen Fulton.
A rematch, yeah. Fulton.
He won the first one.
Won on points, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
A majority decision, and that was also for the world title. But
yeah,
but this is a new time. This is like when Gennady Golovkin spanked Canelo, and then Canelo came back and fought well in the last fight. You know, that's that type of thing.
Okay, I'll let you get away with those jabs. We'll talk again after the weekend. We'll see where everyone stands then. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I'm just trying to. I'm just.
Yeah,
Trying
look, I think Fulton's a great fighter. You know, I just after that loss, he just doesn't seem quite himself. Doesn't seem the same. Figueroa, he just like I say, he seems more comfortable. He's coming off. Look, okay, listen, he last fought. It was a while back. For me, I'm going. I think Figueroa stops Fulton round 6 to 8 in round between round 6 to 8.
do you think Fulton's broken completely now? Like he can't even take a shot.
I'm not saying I wouldn't say he can't take a shot, no, but I just listen. I think Figueroa is just he's more comfortable at the weight. For me, I'm going Figueroa stoppage. I just think, yeah, I just think that wasn't it a split decision as well?
No,
That Castro fight was a
majority decision.
majority decision.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, the Castro fight was a split decision.
the Castro fight. Yeah,
the first fight was
the
a
Figueroa Fulton fight was yeah,
majority. Yeah,
yeah.
that's how that went down. Yeah, look, obviously Stephen Fulton.
I just think he's lost that grit. He's lost that edge after the like. Listen, like okay, look, it was a big okay. He lost, right, and then it just like it looks like he's lost that edge. He's lost that grit. Like it wasn't a terrible performance. Don't get me wrong.
He lost to a guy that would have beaten them both on one night. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't think that stoppage. Listen, you know, like I think it's how fighters adapt after that kind of stoppage.
Truthfully,
He took that stoppage.
Truthfully,
He didn't. He didn't.
Like a lot of people don't make it back after a big stoppage. You know, it is one of those things. It's just like it's just the modern day boxer. Like I just feel like there isn't that comeback mentality. You know, there's just like I've lost my
yeah.
like that's the end of it. But just for argument's sake, I'm gonna go Stephen Fulton on this one, just for your argument's sake, right? Because I think he's gonna comprehensively outbox Figueroa. I think he does it again. He gets the W again. Goes 2-0 against Figueroa, but also the odds are good. You know, the odds are very similar to David Morrell and David Benevidez. I think that's again we're mixing it up with a sort of a puncher boxer against a boxer.
Are we talking about odds on just a win or odds on like a stoppage?
No, odds on a win. So if I look for more options here on the app, the stoppage. Where's the stoppage? Let me go back to the mains. So if you wanted to go the distance, right? If you say it's going the distance, you got a 1.4 on Figueroa. If you say it's not going the distance, it's 2.66. So if I go, sure.
So there's good stoppage for Figueroa.
Yeah, stoppage for Figueroa.
Easy money, baby. Easy money.
But I think I'd probably go. I'll probably go distance for this one, man. So you're saying stoppage, eh? That's definitely your choice.
Yeah, I reckon stoppage round 6 to 8. Obviously, don't worry about the round, but I reckon stoppage. You see, I think Figueroa stops him.
In my head, I agree with you, and that's like going to be like the last time I ever say that. But
it's on record now. You can't run from it.
But in my guts, I'm hating this result. Like I just hope that Fulton shows some resolve and puts on a good fight, and even if he doesn't get the win, I hope he does go all the way. And
look, I think what's going for him is he's obviously his activity. I think Figueroa has been out a little bit long. It's a long layoff. But for me, it's like he's more comfortable at the weight, and Fulton just doesn't look himself, man. Just if you look at the the interviews and things. I don't know. He's lost that edge. Look, he might come out and put on a performance and shock me, but I don't know. For me, Figueroa stoppage, and all
right,
he gets revenge on that 20. When did they? Yeah, that 2021 fight, I think it was.
All right, just for the sake of getting leathered, I'm gonna go for Brandon Figueroa, and we're gonna agree on this one, a very rare occasion. And sportsbets.io has been placed. Okay, that's great. So I've gone with your guy, Brandon Figueroa. I'm going to take your advice for once. Hopefully you come through with a solid W there. But David Morrell on the other hand. David
I'm
Morrell.
not changing on the Morrell one. The Benevidez Morrell one, that one stays. But
I'm actually going to put the most on that one now that you said that.
I'm going to put that bet, and then you're going to put a thumbnail there of my bet there in the corner, and then we'll have a
Yeah,
little celebratory thing on the next episode.
I actually think we need receipts from sportsbets.io. We need the receipts.
100%,
The winner's
100%.
ticket.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to.
The winner's
Yeah.
ticket will
Hey,
definitely
listen,
be
it's
posted.
it's great stuff. This is like a new season type thing, you know. So when we do our recordings, we can have like a 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, and so it's going to continue. I think I'm going for a clean sheet this season, eh?
I'm gonna have a clean sheet.
You have a clean sheet.
Look,
No.
the reason I placed I just put down something on Morrell right now is because after this interview, when people listen to my advice, the odds are going to be absolutely affected completely and bomb out. So I think you put it in now before I've affected everyone's predictions. You know.
Hey, you go, you're a legend. You keep it up there.
We'll catch you soon, and people in the comment section, make sure that you show your love for Team Mike or Team Hayden. And who do you think's going to win between David Morrell and David Benevidez? The big talking point of this weekend. David Morrell, bring it home, brother. Let's do it.
Let's go. Thanks so much, man. That was awesome, and look forward to doing this again.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Check you soon.
Take care, brother. Keep punching.
Keep punching. Yeah, don't fall back in that ringer. I'll try to get my head out the clouds.
Yeah, try to get your head out.